my chicken neck. Hello. It says recording in progress.
Okay.
Oh, hello, Alison.
Hi, Sam.
So we are at other ends of the Sunshine Coast today because the weather is shocking. And I don't like to drive when it's so horrible. Yeah. My little house locked
Yeah,
in,
you might rough. Yeah.
hot dust. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is our week one wrap up. She's very
Hmm.
excited. So this is day 358 and
Yep.
counting. And so we're just going to have a bit of chat about the first week and what we've done and where we are now heading. So, Alison, anything exciting that you've noticed of the week?
Exciting. Don't know if it's exciting, but it's fun. And when you just said 3:58, I just got this funny feeling like, that's too fast. The days are running out. I don't know that I've ever taken track of days before, so that's fascinating. I think probably because there's a lot of stuff that I put down in my little list of all the things that I would love to see happen over the next year. And I've spent the week getting really clear on what I want in my list. And then I've done a little breakdown where I've, just to remind myself, under the main categories. So, for example, body and health, I've got some little ideas about what I want to happen. And then I've broken them down into daily, weekly, and monthly tasks. Um, and the in the daily one for body and health, for example, it's to make sure that I have great nutrition. So that's taking my supplements, it's walking for 10 minutes and doing a sun salute for 10 minutes. Now, I'm going to share a little thing. I'm a chiropractor and I get my spine checked very regularly, and I significantly hurt my back. How long do you reckon? Do you remember? Was it maybe it was summer? It was warm. So,
Months ago, maybe a little bit more.
yeah. And it's plagued me since then in that I'm kind of managing it. I'm not pain free in certain movements. And I reckon I've gone into a little bit of a state of guardedness. So I wear different shoes to work, so that I'm a bit flatter and I'm not hinged forward on the table so much. And I reckon I've started to decrease my physical activity. So in doing this sun salute, the first one I did actually really hurt. And I went, all right, well, I'm going to do it gently. I'm going to listen to my body and I'm going to go into the stretch. And I only started those 2 days ago. So I'm only on day three. And already, surprise, surprise, I can feel some changes in my little body. Feels a little bit easier today. And I'm not in constant pain by any stretch, but it catches every now and then. And it's like, so that's been nice and a good little reminder. If you don't move it, you lose it. Um, but the other thing I think with that for me is that something that happens, I think, to all of us as we get a little bit older, our life gets a little bit smaller. And by that, I mean, sometimes you go, like you just said, oh, I don't like to drive in the rain. Whereas maybe you would have been more cavalier when you were 18 or 19. Of course, you would have gone, of course, I'm going to drive in the rain. I'm going to go and we're going to have a beautiful lunch. And you wouldn't have thought. And I understand some of it's prefrontal cortex and some of it's about the age of wisdom and understanding the way people, and all of those things. But our life gets a bit smaller sometimes because we make these little changes. And I reckon my life's gotten a little bit smaller because, and this is what started the sun salute, is that I was watching the rock climbing and watching all those little spider monkeys coming up the side. And I used to do gym rock climbing way, way back. And I looked at one of the girls and she was doing a particular move that I used to fancy myself at being quite good at. And I went, oh, I don't think I could do that now. And then my life was a bit smaller. And I haven't thought to rock climb for years. It's not even on my list. It's not in this list, but it can't be on the list if I can't do it. Do you know what I mean? So I've made my life almost
Yeah,
deliberately smaller in an
yeah,
avoidance of pain.
yeah, yeah. Isn't that interesting? Because there's a couple of things that I've put on my list to do, and I know that I can't do them right now. I
Mm-hmm.
know that
Yeah.
I could do them. I'm not going to share them with you just yet because it'll unfold as time goes on. Um, so what you just said, one, when I was younger, I used to do it. I wouldn't say often because I come from England and so this particular thing wasn't a particular thing. Two, I then made myself do it so I could do it. And then since we moved to Australia, I haven't done it. And the more I haven't done it, the more fearful I've become about doing it.
Mm.
So it's one of the things that I've decided that in this next 12 months that I am going to overcome. And for exactly like you said, that reason of I know that I am missing out on a whole bunch of things in life that this particular activity will give me. that I don't want to miss out anymore. So
What
that's
is? Oh, I want to know what it is now. It's really annoying.
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say, but we will do a little. Yeah, you'll find out.
But isn't it interesting? Because there's some things like there's that saying, it's how you do one thing is how you do all things, right? So if we've got a restriction in our physicality, if we've got like a lack of flexibility, for example, in our physical body, then do we have also like a flexibility in our thought processes? Or
Yep.
if we make something smaller here, we're making it smaller there. And don't we want expansiveness and challenge? And sometimes things to be uncomfortable as you push through and understand the difference between hurting and harming. Like it might be some things can be uncomfortable and it's not a good thing. And I don't mean just the physical body, I mean all the way through life. But sometimes it's about just having that thought of like, well, am I actually harming myself here? No, it hurts a little bit because it's a stretch.
Yeah.
um, I've been putting money. That's another thing that I did is I'm putting a gold coin into my money box every day. I've put it in the feng shui wealth corner of the house, and I'm putting a gold coin. Now, that was a little bit uncomfortable because I had to go and get some coins because I didn't have any gold coins. But what the reason for doing it and having it in my daily task is that I pop it in there and I say, today I make great choices around money. And so there's the gold coin, popping it in there. It's in the wealth corner. What do we think about that? I don't even know. But the point is that's the step towards I'm making another great choice. So it's what's
You're
that?
going to
Sorry.
be $365 more than you had, to which you can go and do something beautiful for yourself.
Well, I had to go and get it out of the bank, so maybe I didn't have it, but yeah, whatever. It's just an anchor, I'm going to say, and a step towards. But it was a little bit annoying in order to set it up. So, and I'm going to say that'll be to lesser and greater degrees depending on what the thing is. But in the daily tasks, I'm thinking sometimes they want to be easy. Tell me a bit about your morning thing that you're
Oh,
doing.
yeah. So one of the things that I've done is that I've always known that getting up early works really well for me. It makes me feel good for the day. So I've decided that I'm going to get up early again. I've got a bit lazy. I was getting up about 4:30, going to the gym. I stopped going to the gym for a very similar reason to you. I hurt my back going there. Um, and so then I've been enjoying sleeping in. So now I've decided not doing that. So the last week I started at 5:40 getting
Mm-hmm.
up, and it's gone to 5:30 now, 5:20. So the process for me this week was just start a couple of things and start to just make them into the daily habit.
Yeah.
So the getting up early, I literally get up, put the kettle on, get one of the little immune bombs that I make. So they're lemon, uh, they're lemon, some turmeric, ginger, cayenne pepper, water. I blitz them up, put them into ice, make ice blocks out of them, and I pull one out every morning. Have that. Then I make a cup of coffee for Ben, my husband, and I, and then I get back into bed.
Mm.
Then we sit there and we chat and watch a bit of YouTube, and then I get up and start the day. But eventually, I won't be doing the going back to bed thing. Uh, but right now, what I've done is I've started two things.
Mm.
And if you haven't seen it, I posted yesterday Jimmy Carr who's an English comedian, very intelligent, philosophical man as well. And he made reference that starting something today for your future self tomorrow, getting to those habits. So let's not go so far ahead like 5, 10, 15 years, which is why we're only doing 365. Start the processes now because those processes today are going to make the difference to where you want to be eventually. So my week has been doing that. And also what you just said, which I think is a really mindful thing. We said last week about, deciding what you want and putting it down. However, I do think that over the next week or 2 weeks, really refining what that is, like you just said about refine what it is, and then what are your daily and weekly tasks that you do, um, and make it small. Let's not make anything big over few this year, because I'm going to assert that if we do the small things are going to add up into the big things. We try and do a big thing, it potentially will become overwhelming, and then we're just going to go, I'm not
Yeah.
doing this.
Yeah. And and that's the thing I think that sometimes happens with me, at least, when I do these things. I have these highfalutin ideas. I love to make up big stories of all the rest of it. And then, I fall at sometimes the first or the second hurdle the second it gets a little bit uncomfortable, like you said, it was rainy today and it would have been nicer to not get up and you could have just said, oh, well, I'll start tomorrow. Um, but to make the little steps easy until they become a habit. Because I don't know when you last had to say to yourself, will I brush my teeth today?
Mm. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And like we did a thing, we just did some dry July, like didn't have any alcohol. And I'm going to say, well, I had some near the end, sorry, Chrissy, but we did mostly dry July. But there wasn't the thought process of, will I go and buy a bottle of wine? I didn't, there was no decision to be made because I just wasn't having the bottle of wine. And you're doing the same thing with the getting up. You are just getting up. It's not, will I get up at 5:30 or not?
Yeah.
You just do it. And so that's kind of the nice part if we can start to get these little things in place. And that's what I would encourage everyone to do. And I've already done some refining, like the stuff that went into the time capsule last week. I've added stuff mainly rather than taken anything away, I think. But over the next little bit, I think that there might be some more refining,
Yeah.
you know.
And
So, yeah.
that point was that when we do which we've obviously both done now, and is that future letter to yourself.
Oh, yeah, we did that this week too, didn't we? Yeah.
One that's going to come in January is we're going to have 5 months worth of tiny little great new habits that we're creating. We might find that some of those need to be refined in January,
Yeah.
or added to.
Yeah.
Or you could have already achieved part of some of the goals, in which case then, what's the next step above from there? And
Mm.
also I'm going to say that when you said about getting up early, I know that when I was getting up at 4:30, I was actually laying there awake at 4:20, waiting to get up.
Mm.
My body knew
Mm.
that what I did,
Yeah.
knew what time it was, it knew when to wake up, and so it was never difficult. Once I'd surpassed that into the habitual process, it was
Yeah.
just
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, that's exactly it, isn't it? You don't say, "Will I brush my teeth today?" And and part of the thing too is that it becomes habitual in that it's easy because you've mastered it too. You don't have to go, "Oh, how do I brush teeth again? Do I have to do a YouTube video on it?" Like at the moment, I'm looking at some salutes because I'm not sure that I'm doing it exactly right. And then I decided to release myself from that and just like, I'm going to do something that's like it. And every couple of days, I'll check back and watch another video and see if I'm on the path. But eventually, it'll be second nature and I won't have to think about what the moves are.
and also it's preparing yourself too. So when I started getting up early, I
Mm-hmm.
would have my so obviously Ben and Stanley are fast asleep in bed. I would have my gym stuff all ready to go. Like everything was piled up on the sofa.
Yeah.
I leave myself the last minute to get up and out, but it was there. I wasn't then start having to fumble for clothes, not trying to work around in the dark. My water bottle was ready to go. The keys are there everything's ready. It's like you're saying, brush your teeth. My toothbrush and they sit there by the sink. They're not
Yeah.
tucked away in some cupboard that I have to go and find them every day to go and do it. And I'm going to assert that most people's toothbrush and toothpaste are sat right in front of them.
Yeah. Because they know
That's
they're going to do it. And so
exactly.
that's the whole difference, isn't it? It's the knowing that you're going to do it. Like you absolutely know it's not open for conjecture. And that's, I think, the purpose for me for some of these dailies, because some of them are relationship ones. And one of them is just like, like my mum, sometimes I might go a week without having any contact with her. And I thought, that's ridiculous. Why don't you send her a text every day? So yesterday I just sent her a text and then that started the whole text conversation. Sorry, mum, but like I was about to start work. But it was that thing that I just went, well, yeah, I want to be able to chat to my mum. And it's ridiculous that sometimes I might go days without it for no reason other than the fact that I'm busy doing, and she's busy doing her stuff too. Like it goes both ways. But it's that thing of like, how easy is it just to do that?
Yeah.
If you want to have better and stronger relationships, just do
Don't
something.
be deceived by what that looks like out there. It looks
What's
nice
that?
and looks. So don't be deceived about what that window looks like out there. It looks nice and bright, but it's not. A lot of rain and wind out there.
Well, we've got building works going on here, and they haven't been for the last 2 days. They just didn't even show up today, so I think they just went, "No, we're not even going to bother." I think there's a sort of flood warnings or something on the coast or some crazy thing. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay, so we've done week one.
Wrap up. Wake
Uh,
up.
to just do some finer processes for our
Yeah.
days. So what would you suggest for week two?
So what I'm about to do now is that I've added in a couple of things in that final process, the daily stuff. And I've spent most of the week refining this and just playing it out and seeing how it all works. Because of course, the first day I was going to do a whole yoga class, and then it's now just down to a sun salute, right? But there's a weekly one yoga class. So I don't have to do one full class a week. So what I'm about to do now is actually to go back to the good old default diary that we talk about a lot, and I've just done a little printout now and place all of those things in the diary of where they're going to exist.
Right.
So, like, we're recording this today at just about midday. I've got a feeling that what's going to happen over time, we're going to develop a thing where this will be in the schedule just like everything else. At the moment, we're kind of working it out. Oh, yeah, you're going to come to me, I'm going to come to you, all the rest of it. So I think that I would love for all of this stuff to be second nature. The core thing, of course, we want to have flexibility. Of course, we want to be able to move things around and do whatever we need to do to fit in other things in life. But I think that that's where I would like to see. It's just like, okay, there's a spot for that now. Because if I've gone silly and done too many things here, they're not going to happen.
That's
So
right.
I'm going to go and check it. So that's this week for me is going to be the checking in and seeing what this schedule looks like and seeing if I like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm happy to be a little uncomfortable, but I don't want it to suck.
Yeah.
So, that's the thing. That's what I'm doing. Some
Okay.
of
So
you?
what we'll do is maybe on a Facebook post, we will put up what the that might look like.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to our Facebook page, then have a look, and we'll put like a default diary and the daily schedule on there. So then you can have a look, and then you can make up your own from there. For
Okay.
me, it will be adding a couple more things into the daily
Okay.
routine.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
like refining exactly what you said, refining exact all of the things that you've just said about refining, and then how do I start to add a couple more of those into my week? So the getting up early, the having the immune bomb first up, that's totally fine. Going to the gym, that's fine now in the morning. But what's my new routine coming and looking at
Mm.
through?
And that's the other thing as that reminder, anytime you want to see what we're doing, if you go over either to our Instagram, our Chicks Who Click Instagram, Chicks Who Click Facebook, or if you join the VIP group, that's a free group that we just started a couple of years ago. I think we started that during COVID, didn't we? That you can join up and just see. I think we're sharing it across all of those platforms, just so you can see the little things that we're doing every day. And we just, put out day 360, this is what we're doing. There'll be two posts because each of us are doing a thing. So you can see what the work in progress looks like as part of this little experiment.
And
Cool.
if you're playing along, please feel free to add anything in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Pop in during what kind of some of the things you are doing. The only reason I'm not telling you about the sing is because I think it'll be quite funny when I go to do it. So I want to, what won't be? I don't know. Anyway.
I want to know what this is.
Oh,
Anyway,
I feel a bit.
scary. This is scary. It
Anyway,
wasn't in England, but you did it when you came to Australia. Or you
no, I did.
didn't.
And then, anyway, there you go. I'll replay that later.
Okay. All right then. Well, that's week one, the wrap. Okay.
We'll see you next week, but we'll see you
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
device.
Okay. Bye.